JSP Beams J160 reverse lockout shifter. Let's see what we have. So this kit retails for $469 for the complete kit and $379 for the upgrade kit. So if you're like me and you already have a JSP V2 shifter relocation, all you need to do is buy the upgrade kit. So what's special about this shifter? It's a shifter relocation kit as well as an upgraded shifter featuring a reverse lockout mechanism, making misshifting into the reverse gate impossible. So like we previously talked about, that 3-2 downshift and getting stuck in that reverse gate. A simple press downward on the shifter unlocks reverse gear. So if we check out the piece de resistance right here, if we press downward, this little reverse lockout stopper will go past and allow us to shift into reverse. So this kit does not require any modifications to the transmission. It's adjustable for right-hand drive and left-hand drive. And I'll show you guys this shift rod. You can lean it either way for a US or a Japanese car. Our kit came with this angled shift rod, but in case you wanted a more forward position, JSP has a straight rod for the shifter as well. One important thing, if you guys want to keep your stock interior, this will actually fit under the stock accordion shift boot. And the reverse lockout mechanism, as you guys can see, is self-contained, so you don't need any like extra buttons, levers, nonsense, anything else to deal with around the shifter. This will reduce shift throw by 25%, so it's a cool little short shifter upgrade. It also comes with a shifter bushing, and these for J160s are actually pretty difficult to source. There's 2 mounting locations to this guy, just like the JSP V2 shifter, so you can either mount it in a OEM position or 1-inch rearward, which we will actually be doing. And this also is compatible with both early and late model J160. So we'll take a look at the parts right now, but Zenki and Koki brackets are both included for this kit. All right. So let's see what's in this kit. These two go on the shifter rod itself. Again, when you adjust for that 1-inch rearward, you'll put this in the rearward position. This shifter rod attachment comes with its own hardware. Really like how this hardware has a shoulder on it. So if we put this guy inside, you can see that guy self-locates. If you guys are, familiar with hardware, if it doesn't have that shoulder, there's a lot of chance for misalignment on components like these. So yeah, I'm really happy that this hardware has that shoulder on it. Again, these mounting bosses, we can see Koki steel and Zenki aluminum. So whether you have a early or late J160 trans, Mr. John has graciously included both of the mounting positions. I gotta check what mounting bosses I have on my car, but if we need to replace the ones on my car, we'll be using these thicker Zenki aluminum mounting bosses. We got brand new hardware for these mounting bosses in the shifter. Our shift rod, which like I showed earlier, plugs into this guy. And in case you wanted your shifter to actually sit more forward, JSP has a straight rod instead of this bent rod. That's also available. We got a reverse lockout stopper plate with some hardware. And you can see right there, this guy should go right there on the shifter. You can see that machined cutout for the reverse lockout stopper on the shifter itself. And then I thought really thoughtful of Mr. John, he actually includes this Torx tool. Pretty nice one actually, made in Poland. And this Torx tool is actually disassemble this guy. There's 4 little Torx bolts. And in case you ever need to service this guy, Mr. John included the tool for you. So not only did Mr. John graciously get us this J160 Beams reverse lockout shifter kit, but he gave us a few other goodies as well, so let's take a look at those. Surprise package from Mr. JSP John. So in addition to our JSP Beams J160 reverse lockout shifter, we got a few other goodies from Mr. John. JSP Type 2 shifter knob, and this one's the Derlin version. This also comes in aluminum and a lot of fancy colors as well as some low-key colors. Looks like we got this fancy red color that actually has a fancy name. These are threaded for multiple shifters, not just in the 88.6, and also comes with multiple inserts. Yeah, this guy's really cool. I like weighted shifters. I think it makes for a great shifter feel. Pretty cool. Machined JSP logo in this guy. Of my ADD, I like to take things apart, and you can see how nice this stuff looks. Like, there's a machine shoulder right here that is encased by this shift knob. .88.6 Derlin shift button. I had no idea Mr. John made these, but I guess we're putting a shift button on my car today. I didn't know this, but I guess some of the aluminum ones rattle inside the shifter. To solve that problem, Mr. John made these drift buttons with a better fit to reduce the slop. And also it's made from Durlin to absorb some of the vehicle vibrations. It looks like the shape of this is slightly larger than, you know, the normal shift buttons on the market, which yeah, it definitely feels like it. I know I have problems sometimes like unlocking that thing to put the parking brake back down on some customer cars. So yeah, this should be interesting. And our final surprise piece, A86 billet fuel sender cover. So these are inside the trunk or the hatch if you have a hatchback like myself. These will replace your ugly cover inside the cabin that covers the fuel level sender. Direct replacement for OEM, but routes the wiring directly towards the taillight for a cleaner look. This also includes stainless steel hardware, which is great because I know I've broken the head off of many rusty interior parts before. These being one of them. This guy is also available in not only this raw aluminum, but also in anodized black. Really quick, I like how these are Phillips heads instead of an Allen or a Torx, because I'm sure you guys are like me, and when you're out in the field, you never have an Allen or a Torx, whereas you can stick anything in here, like your keys, and probably undo a Phillips. So I love that these are Phillips. I also love that the hardware is stainless too. I'm really surprised stainless hardware is expensive, so I'm really shocked that, you know, the extra cost, like Mr. John had the forethought of putting stainless hardware in this kit, because you guys have probably seen on some Corollas, even the interior bolts can rust and get crusty too. So yeah, these are great, and I know these will last a long time. And my second favorite piece besides the shifter is actually the stickers. Of course, you guys know, plus 5 horsepower a piece, right? So here's an easy 15. We got a regular script sticker, this holographic sticker, and then my favorite Rastafarian sticker. Yeah, you can buy these stickers separately as a pack on the JSP website as well. So yeah, I'm excited as heck for this reverse lockout shifter. So why don't we go ahead and go install it. This isn't Ezekiel. Who is this?
Michael.
Michael,
Hello.
who are you?
I'm the new guy.
Introduce yourself. Give yourself a proper introduction.
I'm Michael. Yeah, I'm the new guy, and I used to be a technician at Honda, but now I'm a project car technician. Yeah, that's what I like to call myself.
All right, so our first goodie, JSP drift knob. Here, install this thing.
How? Did you just go? No, it doesn't go over.
Yeah, you got to unscrew the old one off.
Oh, this is a screw on?
Yeah. I think take the parking brake off first.
Does this handle pull out?
Nah, you keep the handle.
What? Y'all are as a twist off? I hear a spring on the back. Is it gonna shoot out?
It shouldn't, but the spring's pretty long.
Whoa. Basically it threads in. So what goes bad? How come customer cars I see, this is all messed up? Is it just the threads? Or the spring is just worn?
That's a great question, because inside the parking brake itself, parts go bad inside that thing also. Yeah, that's good. Some of the aftermarket ones I've had, it's, what's it called? They're tough to thread in.
I think I've already reached my...
Go ahead, pull the brake. Or let's see. So I think you pull this one out, okay. Pull it out, and then rip the brake. Rip it, pull it. No. Oh man.
Oh, I thought you meant, pull this.
And then, what? Why isn't this working? Okay, sorry you guys. I don't normally run a drift button, so I guess both of us are dum-dums today. I thought I was like, oh, we're not gonna need instructions, and yeah, sure enough, here we are. Can't freaking figure this out. Hey, don't lose that spring too. That's a freaking, you know how expensive these cars are? That spring must be a freaking $1,000.
I bet you, because you can't find them.
Kidding.
Oh, I actually believed you.
What do you need? Here. Yeah, we got a magnet. Let me get my screwdriver back. What the hell, man?
I've never ran a drift button either.
Yeah, the only time I have drift buttons is customer cars, so.
This is new to me too.
Is it threaded all the way in?
No, I think it's because it's...
Yeah, it should stop at some point.
I'm not even catching. Okay,
that wasn't as easy as we thought, but we can actually drift now, so, all right. Cool, so what do we find out?
That you need to take this off in order for this to fully sit down in.
Nice, so yeah, one piece of constructive criticism I would say, if you see the JSP drift knob is flat just like that. Some of the aftermarket ones I've seen actually have like a concave in them, so it helps the rod in the middle self-center. So pull that brake up. So actually you can access, what happens is this rod like hangs down, and then we couldn't get this thing to we couldn't get the boner to stick up and like get this thing to thread in. So actually underneath the parking brake, you can actually push up and get the rod straight, and finally we could thread this guy in. So yeah, that's just one piece of constructive criticism I have is I wish that thing was, let me get the camera to focus. I wish the end of the drift knob had a concave so that rod could self-center and make it easier to adjust. So again, pull the brake, pull it. All right, and then pull it on the top and lock it, and then push out. There we go.
Oh, I didn't pull all the way out.
Yeah, you gotta pull, hey man, your pull out game. Come on, dude.
It's weak.
Yeah, pull this. Don't touch the knob, just pull up. This was not so, I thought this would be an easy install, and this turned so difficult. Pull it up. So pull up, and then you pull this thing out, and then let go. There we go. And then, there we go. Yeah, cool.
And then pull up, and then
when you push down, yeah, release the brake. Cool. All right, cool. Now we can go skid.
Whoa.
Okay, next piece, let's go. I feel like I'm gonna get sick looking at my own checkered floor mat. What's the next piece we have here?
We have the fuel sending unit cap. Is that right?
Close enough. Okay, so it's under this carpet, so let me grab these for you. Here's what the OEM one looks like. I bet you this screw is really shiny because I probably replaced it at one point because the old one stripped out. I've seen these in far worse condition. So yeah, this will be a pretty piece.
Wow, shiny.
Cool. So yeah, go ahead. I'll let you install this guy. Michael's not a Corolla guy, but we're about to make him one. So he asked if we got to disconnect these wires. And yeah, that's correct. So the big one, the big yellow one is a fuel pump, and then that one's fuel sender. So there's a trick with these wires. You see, you know, usually on connectors, you like press down and pull them apart.
Yeah.
So in this case, you gotta lift up on this tab, and you see like there's a little triangle in there.
Oh no, not these.
Yeah, so yeah, lift up on this tab and pull them apart. Pull them apart by the, always pull apart by the connector, not by the wires. So I'll give you guys a quick tip. So I'll stick my pocket screwdriver right under there, and then go ahead, you can pull that thing apart. You gotta leave the screwdriver in there and put a hair of pressure and pull that guy apart.
It's tight.
So you gotta lift up on that thing above the, so it goes above the triangle, and then you can pull them apart. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then that one. If you break that wire, I'm gonna send you home early, man.
Pigtails. You need this wire. This is harder on camera. You make me nervous.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Jeez. Help me, Jesus. This
It's just
this grommet will take the grommet out of here, and we'll be able to slide these wires through.
so it's just a flat.
Or you could probably pick
just-
this up and pop it out with your thumb through the backside. There we go. There we go. Cool, cool. Awesome. There's our old piece. Throw that in my mystery box. And yeah, if you guys aren't familiar, fuel level sender right there. All right, so we'll install this guy and we'll be back. How's this install going?
Pretty straightforward. This is probably one of the shiniest parts in your trunk.
This is the just about to mention parts like this make the rest of the car look bad.
Shout out to JSP. Look at that. He even engraved it right there.
All right, cool. We were just talking about my nasty shifter. So, would you have a question about this?
It's if we get FRS or BRZ shifter.
Yeah, so FRS shift knob. I actually had to make this shifter and boot combo myself to solve the reverse lockout problem. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to source another accordion shifter now that because the JSP one's compatible, but I'll show you. Imagine, man, I sewed this myself. Look, there's a piece of Velcro here, and then you know, to prevent the wind and stuff. So yeah, so this guy comes up, and then we'll take my interior apart, and once we get all this apart, we'll show you guys reverse lockout shifter I custom made myself. Let's talk about this monstrosity. I know the first thing you mentioned, I had to notch this out back here on my tunnel. So yeah, this is the JSP V2 shifter, I believe. I paid retail for this guy. The reason I chose this shifter was that this was the only relocation shifter on the market where you could move it 1 inch rearward. So originally when I did the J160 swap, this sat too close to the radio. So third, you would literally punch the radio. Even now, I wouldn't mind if this sat closer to me, more rearwards. Yeah, you can see I had to do a lot. Like I actually re-drilled and riv nutted the holes for the shifter boot because the boot would get kinked and like the reverse lockout wouldn't work, or like I couldn't go into certain gears because the boot was too tight. Like I had to do a lot to get this to work. So yeah, Michael, just to give you a little bit of how this thing is. The top half, you can see I made this sleeve right here. So this right here, you can see the sleeve. So I basically cut a BRZ shifter, rewind all the way back. I wanted to investigate. I knew the FRS BRZ had a reverse lockout mechanism, and that's what I needed. So I had to pretty much reverse engineer what that car had. How the reverse lockout works in that, there's a physical plate right here, and it acts like a stop. So if we turn the camera, there we go. There's a stop. So push it all the way. Yeah, there we go. So it stops on that plate. And I had to custom make that plate myself, and I based it off the original FRS design. And if you do your 1-2 shift, you can see that like it barely touches that plate. And then if you try to go all the way into reverse, which is like near first, so go ahead, pick up the reverse lockout. There we go. And then you can go into reverse and then move over. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, one more over. There's reverse. Cool. And then go ahead, put it back into neutral. So yeah, that's how it works. I'm really excited for the JSP shifter, plus having like my original interior back again and not having to cut and drill a bunch of holes like I had to previously. Any thoughts on this thing?
It's gonna be killer. It's gonna look nice OEM.
Well, thanks, man. You disrespect all my R&D work here.
What do you mean?
I had a bunch of back and forths with Mr. John about this shifter, so like I'm really like blessed that he, you know, even wanted my input. For sure, it's gonna be bittersweet because I put so much effort into this. I'll be able to get my OEM boot and stuff back in there.
So this is gone now, right? Since we're gonna get that new.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find some way to fill that thing in. But yeah, with that being said, why don't we take this apart and we'll get the JSP stuff on there. I believe I'm gonna have to change these ones out because I can feel these are thinner. So I'm gonna have to put those thick new Zenki ones in there. So yeah, when we come back, we should have the shifter in there. Okay, so Michael just asked what were these pieces for, and I was like, I really hope we don't have to change these because I gotta go under the car and under the bodywork, and I'll show you guys where this stuff goes. We got a customer J160 here. Mr. John has a YouTube video on how to install this shifter, so I'll link that into the description below. But just to show you guys, this all sits behind the bodywork, that trans tunnel, but that guy sits all the way on there. There's a bolt and a roll pin. And then this guy sits right there. So though these are pretty and zinc plated, I do not have the time or patience to undo everything to get these out from under the car. So I'm really hoping my V2 ones that are attached to the trans already work. Let's go find out. All right, so if we look at my original V2 shifter and my dog, these Zenki brackets are quite a bit thicker than the ones I had on the car. So looks like these guys will go on. One thing I really like, check out these dowels or bosses so that this guy precisely locates where it needs to be. And so using these ones, we'll do medium bolt, short bolt, and then no, we're not gonna do that, Dexter. And then we'll do the longest bolt at the end, I believe. Instructions don't say it, but I prefer Loctite on everything because everything on a Corolla will rattle loose. Let's get started. Yeah, we just wiped off the top of this guy. Make sure we have a flat mounting surface. And yeah, before we even put in any bolts, these bosses should precision fit. So go ahead, you can set that guy in there. And if you give it like a love tap with your hand, that guy should like there we go. You hear that? Click. Click, okay, click. Look at that. There we go, boom, boom. Don't even need bolts. No, I'm kidding, put in the bolts. Before we put those bolts down, I wanted to make sure this guy will line up. Oh man, that's really strange. Do I still have to cut out the body then?
No, cut the body.
So, okay, so here's a... Sorry, the way you said that. What the fuck? So looks like if you want this thing rearward, you do have to notch out the body on even more if you're doing J160 behind a 4AG, but oh man. All right, so I guess if we don't want to notch out the body,
Can we add spacers?
no, don't add spacers to this thing. We're gonna mount this in the forward position and then see what that looks like. Hopefully that'll work. I think because the shift rod's bent back, that should work for us. But yeah, again, if you want this in a rearward position, J160 to 4AG swap, you'll need to notch that trans tunnel even more than me. Okay, so the part I didn't want to do, we actually need to go into the car and move this forward into the forward mounting position. So there's two right there, and we got to move this guy forward. Ah!
Why is it shorter though?
Why is it shorter? No, it's the same length. Yeah, same length.
Oh yeah, maybe I had it.
Yeah. Okay, so we got this off. Luckily, as you guys can see, it's the same as the new provided piece, so far less work for us. We took this off because it was in the rearward position, and to put on the new shifter, I need to move this to the forward position. So yeah, one more time. This guy goes above, right there. You can see our setup. I undid the trans mount bolts and we lowered the trans down a little bit, and I was able to access those top two M6 Allen bolts with this guy. Short, yeah, stubby Allen socket on a 1/4" ratchet. T6. So yeah, we're going to use Mr. John's new hardware, move that to the forward position, and then we can resume back in the car. This is a bigger job than I wanted it to be, but that's no one's fault but my own. All right, let's put this back together and we'll be back. All right, so we're getting close to putting the shifter on. Don't put it on, don't put it on. Hold on. Before we put the shifter on, I got a little bit of extra grease that normally goes on poly bushings, and I'm just gonna lightly on the inside of this guy. Yeah, so that Durlin isn't like metal on metal. So yeah, we got a little bit in there. And yeah, when we come back, we'll put the shifter on. Okay, so here's where we're at. There's 4 different bolt sizes. The second to longest with the Zenki mounts go in the last hole. Shifter on. We just got these guys hand tight. Go ahead, throw the shifter on. And in the forward position, this shifter is gonna use the front 2 bolt holes. And so the very longest ones should go in the front, and then the short ones go right there. If you were using the skinnier Koki plates, there's an intermediate size, and this intermediate size would probably replace this bolt right there. So this intermediate size, if you're using the Koki plates, would actually go in the last bolt. All right, let's bolt this shifter on. All right, excellent. So we got our shifter finally mounted up. I wish I didn't cut up my car, but I kind of had to, but I know Mr. John should have this in the forward position, and this should clear the factory body work. So we're going to put on the most important piece of this whole thing, the reverse lockout stopper plate. So it goes on the US passenger side. I'm gonna lay this on there, a dab of Loctite on each bolt, and then once we got it finger tight, we'll show you how to adjust it. All right, so exciting that my dog wanted to join us. So we got our stopper plate just with some Loctite. The bolts are finger tight in there. So to adjust this guy, the shifter rod's got to go in first. So something pretty cool I noticed, I thought this was a through hole, but there's actually a stop. So that's pretty cool. And then again, left or right hand drive, so I could turn this over to either side. So for the time being, I'm just gonna set this thing in the middle. Yeah, this is aluminum stuff, so don't crank down on it. Cool, well, let's make sure this thing goes into gear and stuff. Oh, wow. Very nice, very nice. Very precise, I like it. All right, so just some initial impressions of this shifter. I prefer my short shifters to have more of an OEM feel, and again, that's why I went with the original JSP V2 shifter. For sure, from experience, the SQ shifter feels like a very tight short shifter. So some people prefer a tighter short shifter like that. I actually prefer a more OEM plus feel. It's very precise, it's not sloppy, and then again, yeah, not sloppy at all. This thing feels great. 6, and yeah, that's my 3-2. So yeah, just sitting here, this thing, so far so good. This thing shifts absolutely great. I was actually really worried about it being too tight, like I was talking about, like a lot of aftermarket short shifters that are way too short. But yeah, I really like this thing so far.
Does the shifter sit taller or?
Does this thing sit taller? You know what? That's a great question. So far this thing's good. This sits about where my old one sat at. But God, I'll be honest, I really wish I could put it in the rearward position. This is still like, I don't have...
So your arm is like legit extending out a little bit more.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, if it was here, that'd be perfect. I know I actually got fitted for this seat, and one thing I learned was that I have a long torso but short arms. So I sit very tall because my torso is long, but then my arm is very short. So actually, if I could put this in the rearward position, I feel much more comfortable. But you know, at least I have that option to do that in the future. But if you're a lanky guy with long arms, this would probably work out perfect for you in the forward position. So I believe we want to get this as straight as possible, and we want to make sure that we can get into first and second. Oh, can you give me the short one? All right, sorry, the smaller one. So I'm in first right now. I'm just gonna snug these things down. So according to Mr. John's YouTube video, you want to be able to shift into your 1-2 and still be able to not bypass that reverse lockout. If you guys notice what I'm doing, this is another trick I've done for like BRZs and STIs. I have reverse lockout plates. I'll max this out against the shifter, and if I bump it a little bit, if I bump it a hair, if I bump this thing a hair, yeah, that's one way to align the reverse lockout. I know for a fact on a FRS you actually got to put a feeler gauge in there and measure a bunch of stuff, but the quick and dirty way, max it out, bump the shifter a little bit, and this guy should be in the right spot. So we are gonna call that good. Why don't we try this out? Reverse is kind of where first should be, so obviously I can't get into reverse. Yeah, can't get into reverse, so if I go here, push down, oh, there we go. And then that should be my reverse. Wow, that was so good, that really surprised me. Why don't we do that again? All right, so first, second, can't get into reverse. So I'm going to push down, go into reverse, and then up. Wow, pretty cool. I like the down, and I'm not sure how many Euro cars you've worked on, Michael, but yeah, you know, some of them you pull the boot up to get into reverse.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I'm gonna break the shifter. Like you pull it up and like break the trim off. Like, wow, this feels very awkward. And then you have like a loose sock in your hand. Like, oh, this feels kind of gross.
Yeah.
I really like this push down mechanism. It feels tight. This thing feels tight when you do this too. If I put the shift knob on, I wouldn't hurt my hand, but looks like this is adjusted correctly. Just one more time, exactly while we're doing this 3-2 downshift. Boom! Alright, cool. So yeah, why don't we get the interior back together, we'll put the shift knob on, and let's go for a road test. I thought I'd give our new tech here an opportunity to try this. So I'm gonna let him not hurt his hand. We're gonna use our new JSP shift knob. Go ahead and thread this thing on. Awesome, alright, cool. Well, yeah, go ahead and try it out.
Whoa, that's so smooth. Whoa, it's like butter. To go to first is so nice. It's pushed down and... Whoa.
Even sounds good, huh?
It does. It's not that clunk. Whoa, this is... They outdid themselves with this one. Yeah, I like it.
What's it called? I made my own reverse lockout. So this is what I was using before. John's V2 shifter, and then I made this part with the lockout plate.
Oh, cool.
Grant from Battle Garage, why don't we get
guys?
your impressions of John's newest shifter?
What boot were you using?
Yeah, that's one thing I was pretty adamant about with Mr. John, was that the factory accordion boot should fit in there. You can roll the chair back too. I know we're both very shorter than you, very much shorter than you.
Who's we? Who's the other person?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Who's the other person? Did the Michael not exist?
Well, I mean, I didn't realize he was driving your car as a daily. That's all.
Oh. All right.
You're talking about Dexter.
Oh.
All right, so. Oh, the knob feels good. I like this. It's smaller than I thought. You know, John, in photos, this thing looks huge, but in practice, it's actually quite small. Or maybe my hand's just giant. I'm not sure. That's a really good feel. That's cool. I like the feel. I think with your old setup, it wasn't as precise as this.
For sure, it was not as
Yeah, it
precise
was
as
like,
that.
I mean, it's been a while since I've driven your car. I drive your car sparingly, but yeah, I remember it was definitely, yeah, the FRS trans you put in my car definitely was more positive than this, than your old setup.
Yeah.
This, I think this feels better than FRS.
I would agree, 100% agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So we've got a totally custom setup feeling better than the OEM shift setup in my car.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you want to grab the 3-2 downshift, I mean, that's what this thing's made for, so.
Yeah. So how do you get into reverse?
So get in neutral, and
I'm in
then you push down to bypass the gate.
Oh. Wow, that's slick. That's very slick.
And I'll show you similarly. That's his reverse lockout plate right there. So this
Okay.
guy's adjustable.
Oh. What do you do with the adjustment?
So like get into first.
Oh, sorry, first.
Yeah. So exactly right. Couldn't get into reverse, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is you can get into first and second and not bypass the gate. Only when you push down can you bypass the gate. So this guy can adjust left and right so you can control where like first and second gate is and at what
so
point do you bypass the reverse lockout.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'm just noticing this honeycomb pattern. See that detail on the edge?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so also really cool, like this is all serviceable. So he gives you the tool to open this up. There's a sealed bearing inside there if you want to replace it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this thing's completely serviceable.
This is a work of art.
The one kind of drawback that we talked about when I sat in the car,
Yeah.
your arm is for sure longer than my arm, so shifter position probably feels better for you.
Is it too far forward for you?
Yeah, because I have short arms.
I see.
You can actually move this whole thing 1 inch rearward.
Oh, okay.
So that would work better for my T-Rex arms.
Are you going to do that?
You know what sucks is I have to notch this out some more.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
I see.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, one thing I will say is the FRS trans and the impulse shifter. I don't know the shape of the rod, but the shifter is definitely a little bit further back than OEM even. And on track, I greatly prefer that. So
You prefer?
I prefer it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this actually is a bit of a reach for me for track too.
Oh,
so
curious.
If this was my car, I would slide it back a hair.
Oh, curious.
Yeah. I think on more modern cars, you notice like I don't know why. I don't know if it's on purpose. Probably it's on purpose, right? But the shifters kind of like migrate back. Whereas like over time, the shifters have gone further and further back in the cars. Whereas older cars, they were kind of like
Closer
they were
to
more of a reach, right?
Correct.
Or in the case of the old Alphas, they were on the dashboard, like.
Oh, yeah, some weirdo cars like
Yeah,
EP3 and DC5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the feel itself is it's actually really surprising. It's really nice. Really good work. Yeah, it was good. I like it.
Yeah, awesome. You heard it from the big boss. I like it.
Yeah, I love this thing. It's great. Cool, man.
Yeah, next time we'll go drive together. And,
Yeah, I'd love to check it out in action.
Yeah, for sure. This drift button's from him too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I like the black anodized.
It's actually Derlin.
Oh, it's Delrin.
Yeah.
Oh, Delrin. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so the point for Mr. John is that the fit's actually tighter, so that
It's not so sloppy.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, because the sometimes they rattle, right? If you have a drift button that
see,
doesn't fit so well.
Drifto Grant knows. I never have a drift button in my car, so I don't know if they rattle or not. But
Yeah, but one thing I didn't learn until not that long ago was that people back in the day would take the seat lowering knob off the back of the seats of these cars, and they'd use that as the actual knob here. Have you seen that before?
I have not, but those are far too valuable to do that with now.
Yeah, it was easier back in the day.
Cool. Well, someone's looking for Grant, so I guess that's our cue. Thank you, sir.
That's my cue. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.
Steven, you don't work here. Why are you back here? Come here.
I do work here now.
Oh, man.
Oh, sad.
Okay, what do we have, Steven?
We have.
A dog, besides the dog.
Explain to me, what do we have? The new shifter by the J160 shifter? No.
The J160 didn't make this shifter. Mr. John did.
I know John did, but this is for the.
J160,
J160.
whether you have a beam swap or you just have a J160 behind any other engine, specifically J160 reverse lockout shifter by JSP Fab.
Oh, okay.
So Why don't you grab Mr. John's knob and feel it?
Yes. What's it made out of? The material this is made out of
So this is Durlin.
Durlin, yeah.
Apparently we can't speak English because Grant pronounced it better. This comes in either aluminum or Delrin.
Delrin.
You're welcome to slide the seat up. I know you're shorter than the both of us, than the thrice of us.
Ooh, this feels so good. Reverse. Reverse is down to the all the way. Ooh, this feels really good.
Probably didn't go all the way in reverse. Go push down and then one more. You gotta crank it over a little bit. So
To
the left. So
there you go.
yeah, there we go. Cool.
Okay, this feels really good. Kind of feels like a Honda Fit, weirdly.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, that's a good thing, right? Honda Fit shifter feels really good too. Yeah, that feels amazing. That feels honestly, man, Mr. JSP at it again. The 86 savior.
What do you think about that, Dexter? All right, so while Michael's putting my car back together, let's check out what my old reverse lockout system looked like. So again, JSP V2 shifter, reverse lockout plate. You can see how this guy works. So there's a spring-loaded thing in there, and that stopper would hit that plate to prevent you from going into reverse. And yeah, just one more time, the bottom is J160. You can see the sleeve that I combined the top half of a BRZ shifter and the bottom half of a J160 shifter. And I made this long time ago. What do you think about that, Dexter? While Michael was putting my interior back together, we just noticed, looks totally OEM. You wouldn't even know. Alright, so it looks like our shifter install was a success. We totally lost our daylight, as usual here at the Autohaus. So the next time we come back, we'll do a real touge torture test for this shifter. See if this shifter really lives up to our expectations.
The next day.
20. So that means our tight section's probably coming up. Also, the sun in our eyes is coming up. We're gonna brake and turn. Didn't brake hard enough. Very good 3-2 downshift. Very good, very good. Again, a blind corner, gotta watch out for traffic. Very nice. Very nice. We got another downshift opportunity coming up. Braked in the wrong spot. Gotta watch out for traffic again. And there's our traffic. All right, so we might have to run this a few times, but that's all right. Or no. Once again, we have very polite drivers, and we also have a 3-2 downshift opportunity here. Run away, birds. Gotta be careful, another blind corner coming up. We're gonna brake hard, then 3-2. Brake, and then power out. My timing's way off today. I'm gonna brake straight line. Probably should be running better pads. Definitely feel a lot more confident than when I drove this last time. All right, so while we take a break and wait for that traffic to come down, once again, an exhilarating experience. This JSP shifter definitely transforms the car. Far more enjoyable to drive. You know, there's always these mods, and they don't necessarily have to be power mods. Sometimes they can be simple as, you know, like the door cups, like stuff, what is it, like tactile stuff that you have to touch and move that really improves the driving experience. And I feel like this shifter is one of those where I have a smoother, more positive. I can really go into feel the detent, more positive, improved shift feel from what the transmission came with. And then also, I would say a performance and reliability mod, because no longer do I have to like think about like a second, right? I can, like we talked about in the first touge video, I can slap this thing in the 3-2 downshift exactly like that. So far more confidence inspiring. The tactile feels absolutely great. And with that mouthful of words, it sounds like it's time to run the uphill section. So let's have a run, shall we? Uphill, uphill. We're gonna go battle KSK in his FDRX7. Next 6 miles, I'll take that as a challenge. All right. Oh, beautiful. Timing was good on that one. Oh, man. Very good, very good. We should have another 3-2 opportunity coming up. It's a hard right hand, which means a hard brake. Beautiful. I should be braking harder, but once again, I am a pussyfoot. Run away, birds! You hear that? Man, I must be having a hard time putting power down or something. Although I'm sure the NX CSP with the helper springs definitely would help out with that. Put more, oh man. Hope you guys heard that oversteer. Holy crap. Yeah, the NX CSP with the helper springs definitely increase the droop for the rear axle, that live rear axle, and help with the grip. Here I am talking, lugging the engine. Come on. Very nice. '20s coming up. I'm gonna brake hard. I pussyfoot on the brakes. I need to stop that. We're gonna do our 3-2. Come on, don't pussyfoot. I've got like anxiety from this thing locking up. I know I don't quite have the brake bias right on this thing yet, but beautiful 3-2 downshift one more time. Gonna brake early, downshift too late, brake. Woo, hair of oversteer. And another downshift opportunity, brake in a straight line. Woo, something fell back there, oh my God. Gotta empty your car on the touge. The birds love it here. What's up with that, birds? Oh, we gotta watch out for traffic. Whew, what a workout, man. What a workout. I'm gonna brake. Let go of that clutch too early. Oh, man. I don't know why I upshifted, but man, tires are getting really greasy, so I gotta be careful. Tires are getting really greasy in the back. Oh, and then, oh, right on time. There's our finish line. Cool, we're gonna hang out, let these brakes cool down. So between touge run 1 and then this touge run 2, man, far more confidence inspiring. Man, far more confidence, so inspiring that I can't even talk. far more confidence inspiring. I want to say a big part of that is this JSP shifter. I guess I'm driving hard enough that the brakes are starting to fade and the tires are getting greasy in the back. So I'm not gonna run one more time because I know what's gonna happen, something bad if I run one more time. I can't believe it, man, this JSP shifter. I didn't know if I was gonna like this shift knob or not, but it feels great. I thought it was gonna be slippery, but actually with some use, this has become very good and grippy. I wasn't sure if I wanted a weighted one or not, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna keep this, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this on the car. It's still a reach for me to get into third. So now that I sit down and can think about it, so ideally in the future, I would move this back to the rearward position, but then that means I would have to cut out some of the body. Looking at some pictures of people with beam swap who have this shifter, it looks like the beams sits more rearward, or I should say the beams, engine, and trans when mounted up sits more rearward, so that beams guys seem to be happy with it just in the normal position. But for you guys doing J160 behind a 4AG, and you have Tyrannosaurus arms like I do, just something to think about. Again, this is like nitpicking. This middle shifter position feels great, but it's just like, if I could, then I would, you know, I'll move it back. But yeah, overall, I'm just blown away by this shifter. Kudos to you, Mr. John. All right, driving impressions. So obviously you guys could see I was really happy with those 3-2 shifts. One thing I had to adjust to with my old shifter was I would like deliberately, how do you say it, make like a Z shape to like make sure it absolutely went into second. I'm sure we all remember those old option videos where, you know, right-hand drive car, slap it into 3-2, like, ka-cha! Yeah, I absolutely have the confidence to do that now. On these hard hairpins that we were doing, just bah, into 3-2. No drama, no thinking, no nothing, no word that it wasn't going to second. Yeah, I am absolutely impressed. The shifts were nice and crisp, definitely a solid thunk, even better than OEM, shifting into every single gear. With my old shifter, 6 was kind of weird, like it'd be like into 6. Absolutely no issues with the new JSP shifter. Reverse works like a charm. Got to get used to pressing down. I like that it's harder because you have to deliberately press down to get it over. It's not like a light touch and then like, shoot, you know, so that you never get caught in that reverse gate on that 3-2 shift. So yeah, I want to give another big shout out to JSP Fab. You know, how many decades of supporting the AE86 community, constantly creating and innovating new products for us. I know I said a lot of pros and I'm thinking of a list of cons right now, but I honestly don't have any cons that I can think of. I absolutely love the shifter. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, JSP Fab. If you guys have a beam swap or got the J160 swap behind whatever engine, JSP Fab reverse lockout shifter kit is exactly the one I recommend. Appreciate the support and I'll catch you guys next time.